Welcome to Inside the Wires, hands down, the best podcast in all of racket sports. Listener discretion may be advised for a younger audience.
Hi, everyone. It's Ara from the Real Paddle Boys on the greatest podcast on the planet, Inside the Wires. We have a wild show for you today with the one and only Greg Robertson, or as his friends and some enemies call him, G-Rob. He's an APTA umpire, although he thinks it's called the ATPA sometimes. He's the president of the world-famous New Jersey Last Chance tournament coming up in April, and he's just a huge personality out here in New Jersey. So grab a drink, grab some popcorn, strap onto your seats, and get ready for Inside the Wires.
Strap on, what?
Yes.
All right, welcome back to Inside the Wires. We are happy to be joined by not only a special guest host, Ara from the Paddle Boys, but the legend of New Jersey, the master of massage, the newest recipient of hip replacement, Greg Robertson. Greg, welcome to the show.
What's going on, guys? Good to be here.
Great to have you. I mean, many people see you on live streaming as the loudest, most well-articulated judge calling things out there, which, you know, us listening in the crowd appreciate. But you're so much more than that.
A little bit. A little bit. Well, I've been around the paddle community for probably 22 years or so.
That's what we want to hear. Give us a brief description for those who only know you as the loud voice in the chair.
Well, we won a huge match against Ian McDonald and his son in the B at B2 to tie for first in the B League. So we're moving up to A. So this will be second time I get to play in the A League in 22 years, but mostly relegated to the B League. But play 4 times a week. Body's beat up like the rest of us. I'm a weekend warrior, man. I'm like a playground legend.
And this is in fall. This is in the New Jersey Fall State League you're talking about, right?
It is in the Fall State League. And there's some tournaments that I played in over the years, League Classic and stuff like that. Played in, a lot of member guests in the quad and played out a couple tournaments in Pennsylvania. But that's it as far as paddle goes.
So real quick for the Chicago people, when you say like the A League and the B League, that's, in Chicago we have Series 1 is kind of the pro league, and 2 and 3 are still very strong, and then it goes down from there. But in Jersey, you've got like Drew Broderick or national champions could be in like the D or the E League, right? Based on what club they play for, not because we can play for, I used to play for Briarwood. I'm not a member of Briarwood. No one's really a member of the club they play for the most part in Chicago. But if you're a pro at a club that's in the D League, you could have a really good player on any given night, right?
Yeah, Ben, I think like Tyler is like in the E League or something like that.
That's about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the right league.
He belongs there.
Yeah. Don't worry about that.
Tyler Owens, for those who don't follow along at home, the pride of the New Jersey Shore now after moving from Louisville.
You're right, though. It's each of the leagues, it goes A through, I don't know, K or L for, I'm not saying loser, but
if the shoe fits.
If the shoe fits, it goes much, much weaker as it drops. When you drop down past, I would say D League, then it gets, I'm not saying weaker, but they're less experienced players. And in each of the leagues, you have like you have A1, 2, 3, and 4. So there's 4 spots for any matches given during the night. And there's a huge difference between A1, A2, A3, and A4. So it's kind of, I compare it to probably like back in the day, Division I sports in college was Division I sport. It was well above Division II, which was separated, and then Division III. Now you have top Division III schools that can beat Division I, a lot of Division I schools. So it's kind of like mashed together. And the same thing is in the paddle league. So you have A1, A2, which are really the top players. These guys are like 1, 2 PTIs, 0 PTIs, and so forth. Then you have your A3 and A4. And when you get to A4, in many cases or most cases, your B1 team is stronger than the A4 team or comparable to the A4
Okay.
team.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it works. But you're right, because in New Jersey, and I'm sure this is the case around the country, a lot of the private clubs, they have much fewer people to draw from. Like you have Brookside up in New Jersey. It's got to have 200 paddle members. I mean, there's 16 courts going virtually every night. But in New Jersey, the private golf clubs that have paddle courts, you have much less to draw from. So Steve DeRose is I'm at Springbrook, and Steve DeRose is our head pro. Steve DeRose may be the best player to ever touch a racket.
Hey, fuck Steve DeRose.
Oh, no,
No. He's the only he's the only guy that ever said no to us to come on the show.
He
So
struck
He
a
said
nerve.
no.
Well, he didn't
Yeah.
say no. He said that,
No.
that Lubau, that
He
John
was-
Lubau would be better to have on because he's more animated. So that's our next guest is John Lubau.
John
People
Lubau.
listening
Sorry,
today,
Greg.
but-
I didn't mean
No,
to
that's
interrupt you.
all
I just
right.
wanted to get the fuck Steve DeRose thing in.
Yeah, Steve's a very, in the back kind of guy. He's not a limelight kind of guy. He's not a bunch of hands like we are, but
So when you
That's the way
say
it
A1, when you say A1, 2, 3, and 4, is that the courts? Like your A team plays 4 courts. You guys, people call them lines, we call them courts, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep.
But so you're saying court 4 or the 4th best team on the A team, the 4th
That's
best.
correct.
Okay, got it. So yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, sure. I think that's the same place anywhere.
yeah,
Do guys stack?
they there periodically there were stacking. So sometimes if you didn't feel you could win your A1 match, they would move the A4 team up to A1. But now with the PTI, at least over the past year or two, that's been tracked a little bit more. So
Okay.
Yeah,
Did
there's
you guys
one-
get rid of PTI? I thought you're not using PTI anymore.
now they're not, but they're not using PTI and for matches and stuff, but they're still taking a look at PTI when they find out what the matchups are for a night.
And we have one major rule that cuts across everything in New Jersey, and it's don't be that guy. Basically, it means
It gets
Yeah,
called
like-
out.
yeah, we don't want to have like 50 pages of rules. We just have one line that says just don't be that guy, and everybody knows what that means, and that's just what we do. That's a code that we have in Jersey.
That's exactly
So,
right.
so like my favorite night of the year in Chicago in league play is during the playoffs. You get to like semis, and now it's kind of there's 8 teams that make the playoffs, and then there's quarterfinal nights. You can pretty much guarantee the top 4 that go through. Then especially in Series 1, you get to semifinal night, and the texts that go back and forth, you're like, are those motherfuckers gonna stack? What are they gonna do? Are they gonna do that? You go through so many lineups, you're like, well, we don't really want to stack, but there's a good chance, their captain's an asshole, so we think he might stack. And
We see
it's
it.
so much fun. And it's a blind. So what you do is you do your lineup, they do theirs, and then the captains right before change them over. And we had it was like 2 or 3 years ago. It was a real good match. It was, Winnetka versus my club, Briarwood. And Durrani Barnes was our captain. And Durrani handed our lineup over, and they handed theirs. And Durrani, the second he gets it, you it just went off. And over in the corner of the hut, because he knew what was going on, he was silent. He was hiding away, was Brian Compton, who was like 3 or 4 in the country at the time, who was playing court 3 that night. We're like, you not cool. But that's
happens.
fun. Yeah, I think
it
it's
happens.
fun.
I think in New Jersey, I'm not sure if it's either the home team that gives the lineup first
Yeah.
or the away team. I think it's the home team. They
The
announce
away
the
team.
lineup.
The away team has
Oh,
to
the away
submit it
team.
to the home team, right?
I think
On
that's supposed to
Thursday.
happen here. It just never does.
Yeah. So listen to this. This is hilarious, right? So we're playing our last match of the year against Canubrook, and Broderick is playing at number 1. I don't know if he's playing with Shallcross or he's playing with someone, but he's slotted to play number 1. They have teams number 2, 3, and 4. and we're supposed to play at 7:00. And at 4:00, Broderick texts our captain and says, "Hey, can we play the one match at 5:00 because I have a board meeting tonight?" And we're trying to accommodate, right? Not because it's Drew, but we're trying to accommodate. So we text our one team, and they're like, "I'm in the city. There's no fucking way I can get there in an hour," right? So it's not going to happen, right? So he texts Drew back, and I think Drew wasn't happy about it because at 7:00, Drew's not there, and guess who's taking his place? Jared Palmer.
The newest club member, Canubra.
That's awesome.
Jared Palmer takes over and like beats our one team 0-0 in 20 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm.
And we weren't the happiest about it, but we checked the rules, and I guess technically you don't have to be a member at that club.
So like in Chicago, you have to play, what has it been, 6 or 7 matches, I think, to be playoff eligible for your club?
You have to play. Yeah, I believe it's 7.
We don't have
no, you know
playoffs.
what? It's 6 because on your 7 is significant. Because on your 7th one,
Yeah,
you get locked up to a higher series.
But state league doesn't have playoffs. That's the thing.
You gotta have
So
playoffs. That's the
Jared can
best
come
part
in.
of the year.
Yeah, Jared can come in the 8th week, the last
he
week.
came in
and
the
just
last match.
play,
And by the way,
right?
we needed 2 matches to win 2 of the 4 matches to move up to A or Series 1 or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
And the 1 team lost and the 4 team lost. Then the 3 team won, and it came down to our match against Ian and his son, who's faster than freaking anything. And we won 7-5 in a third set tiebreaker.
Oh, that's awesome.
So what's interesting, like it's funny how different places do it differently, right? So New Jersey, that's an automatic move up, or I think move down too, right? Depending on where you finish in the league.
Yeah.
So in Chicago, it's all subjective. Like you come in with a team, and if you're playing Series 4, let's say, and you say, "Oh, we just added 3 great new guys," you can move up to Series 2 if you want to. You ask
If
the
there's
league
space and a few
yeah,
other
right.
things.
They'll usually
If
say,
Alan
yeah.
Graham likes you and you line
Right,
his pockets.
Yeah,
you know.
actually, like it's the total opposite here, right? So like in Jersey, let's just say we had a team of the top 8 players in the country. They would have to start, like in brand new team, they would have to literally start all the way at the bottom. It's actually the O League. I just checked. The O League is the lowest. They'd have to start there, and every year they could move up like 2 or 3 spots. It would take them probably 10 years to get to where they belong.
That's brutal.
It's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's certainly very subjective here. And it's funny, like we're having this conversation, and there's, like Detroit or Minneapolis, or some articles in the APTA stuff that like they're just having the league for the first year, so they didn't even have these issues before. So it's funny talking about more established leagues that the challenges you have, I guess, with a fully developed league. Hey, Ben,
But I think Chicago is good though. I think it works its way out. Every once in a while, you have a team that's not as good, or like our team last year that kind of destroyed the league.
Yeah.
But I think it works out well with how we do it.
I think it was the GM that put that team together.
That was Noah. Noah picked an all-star team.
I played court 5 on a 4-court team, but I was a hell of a captain and GM for sure. Hey Ben, I just looked, and the Wednesday night championship night for the league, and then a national starts Thursday, the day afterwards.
So if I get Johan and Steven 7 matches in forfeits somewhere through the season, I could get them to come play for our Series 3 team.
Yeah, because you needed it in first place already, running away with it. So yeah, that's good. Well, we've come a long way from G Rob introducing himself to that story, haven't we?
Well, G-Rob, this is always a good episode where we just go off on tangents.
Yeah.
This is going to be great. I love it.
What happened to my outline? I spent a lot of time on the outline.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get back to it.
All right, work the outline. It's all you, Ara.
All right, G-Rob, why don't you jump into Last Chance? Tell us a little about that.
Oh man. So I don't know if you guys remember Scott Giannetti, that name. Ara, you're relatively new. Noah, you're fairly new. So Scott Giannetti is he was a good friend to many of us in New Jersey. He passed away about 5 years ago. And about 15 years ago, he's the kind of guy you pick up the phone, he'll fill in as a 4th, he'll play anytime. He's just 6 nights a week. six nights a week, and he's a friend to everybody. And him and I used to go to this steakhouse in Morristown called Roots Steakhouse. It's like, it's like a chain, but we'd go to the steakhouse and we'd sit and we'd drink and we'd have steak and some appetizers and we'd go home. And one day we got a little bit drunk.
Really?
And I said, I said, Scott, you know everybody. I want to start my own tournament. So he says, all right, what do you want to do? And I said, I just want it different. I want it totally different than anything that anyone's ever done. I want hot chicks there. I want guys hand rolling cigars there. I want the best giveaways. We give away Patagonia jackets. I mean, we go fully decked out. There's a 20-foot grill with salmon, chicken, burgers, dogs. There's individual pasta stations. There's an open bar. We've got barmaids as servers. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like, I wanted to do everything in this tournament and make it totally different. So he says, all right, well, let's work on it. Let's pick a day. We decided to do it at Springbrook. And he says, what do you want to call this tournament? And again, we were pretty shit-faced. So I looked at him, I go, you know what? He goes, you can't do it anytime during the year. You got to be careful because there's so many tournaments going on. So we decided to do it at the end of the year on April 1st. And we called it the Last Chance Invitational. Like, because it's really, if you think about it, it's the last chance for somebody to win a tournament. I think now there's a couple more after us, but we called it the Last Chance Invitational. The name stuck. And we decided to invite the coolest and nicest people in the paddle community. Didn't have to be the top players. I mean, essentially was an A-B tournament, meaning
normally they're not the coolest anyway.
Yeah,
So.
you're exactly right. You're exactly right.
That's why Ben's still been waiting for his invitation all these years.
Yeah, I'm not a good player either. Or cool.
So it's like a series 1 and 2 player, or in New Jersey, it's an A and a B player. And we've had Broderick replaying it. We've had Milbank playing it. Stulak playing it. We've had Blake has played in it. Juan Araya keeps asking me to come down and play in it.
Can I make it? Can I make an announcement to just piggyback
Yeah,
on that?
I want to hear it because
You want to hear it?
Yeah,
All
here
right.
it
We
comes.
have this year, it seemed we're almost done signing. Like the ink isn't dry yet. But
This
I
is
think
great.
Leon, the other paddle boy, is going to be playing with Mick this year. And if all goes well, I'll be playing with Sven.
Holy shit. Now,
Mhm.
just so you know, I may give you Sven if you're nice to me, because Sven and I were supposed to play in it.
What?
And I
Sven's a dirty horse, isn't he? He's just getting around here. Come on.
No, he's like a disease. The guy's dedefinitely getting around. But hey, he was
Listen,
supposed to play with
If
me.
I were you, I'd take Lynn. She's better anyways.
Yeah. I proactively called him and said, I can't go on anymore. I've got to get this hip replaced. And so technically I bailed on Sven.
Ah, okay. All right.
So, but that would be great if he plays, because Sven and I are very good friends.
Yeah.
From umpiring and stuff. But the tournament, I have to tell you, Ben, it has just turned out. It's morphed into the most ridiculously good day. Fire pits and hand-rolled cigars and everybody smoking and drinking and heckling the top 2 teams playing the quarters and semifinals. It is, no one wants to go home. No one wants to go home. It's just.
Sounds very hedonistic.
It's a
great way to finish the year.
Is it just for Jersey guys, or can Chicago guys come to this?
I can get, I wouldn't accept like a U-line to come, but
I wouldn't want him anyway.
But no, we can have someone from Chicago. We've had from Connecticut, Massachusetts, and periodically. I get so many requests that I've stuck to keeping at a 32 team draw. I won't go above that. I'm not saying never, but it's so intimate as a 32 team where everybody shows up at lunchtime, 12:30, and they're there till 6, 7 o'clock. It's so great. So I won't go more than 32 teams, but it's a tough ticket, man. When I put the invite out, it's literally an hour before it's fully filled.
Wow. That's
So
awesome.
as an invitational, you're picking and choosing who you select then? Maybe.
Maybe.
You don't take
There
the
are guys, I'm not going to mention names on this podcast, but there are guys that have essentially been de-invited.
Nice.
Is that the same guy who never gets into the League Classic every year? I don't even know who it is. I just heard stories.
I don't know his name, but I do know there's a guy that they're like, yeah, it's filled up. I don't know how you can't get in.
Yeah, I mean, I've had guys be the first or
Craziest
second to send me an email, and I don't respond to anybody.
Yeah,
I just take the names, and at the end of the day,
nice.
yeah.
Is it true you played with Lubau once?
I did.
What happened there?
Strangest. I have this love-hate relationship with John. I've known him so long. He's a very eclectic dude, if you will. But I asked him one year to play I used to play with Kendall Osborne. I don't know if you guys know that name either, but he was the head pro at Canubrick before Broderick took over. He was 18 years. He's been A1 player, a pro, and really close friend of mine. Him and I played in the Last Chance for, 10 years straight. But I asked Lubau after, because Kendall moved to California. So I asked Lubau to play. He's like, yeah, right, G-Rob, whatever. So him and I play, and it's just being on the court with him is like the strangest thing. I have no idea if he knows what day it is. He's coming on my side. He's going on his side. He's running up. He's coming back. It's like we're in the I formation. I don't even know if he knows what he's thinking.
Ben, we have to ask Lubau when he's on Sunday night. He's got the same version of the story.
We'll take the other side of this story.
Right.
He's going to crush me. Look, he's an A1 player, and when I'm playing with him, I'm a B1, B2 player, and so he's going to say, yeah, G-Rob is, and he stuck me on the backhand, which I never play. So it was like really playing like with a fish out of water. It was odd, but he's a good guy. Listen, he showed up at 8 a.m. He comes in with his coffee and his newspaper. And we're going to play, I think, 8:30. I'm like, Lubau, let's go. Do you want to warm up? He's like, nah, don't need to. Yeah, I'm just going to read the paper, drink my coffee. And then we're all on the court warming up. And he's like, all right, he walks out. All right, serve him up.
I like his style. Other than the newspaper part, I like the style.
Yeah, so Lubau he's a cool cat. He's an interesting guy.
That should be a good story on Sunday from his perspective.
I like that. We gotta ask him.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear.
Did he do the dagger? He sent me his whole platform tennis article on how to hit the dagger.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I've seen it 4 times against me. So
yeah, so he hits it. He'll hit it with the side of the paddle. He'll turn the paddle sideways, and he'll hit the ball not on the on the handle. He'll hit it on the racket on the side, and then he also can do it with the butt of the racket. So he puts his hand up a little bit, leaves the bottom of the racket come out, and he'll just. I think he makes this shit up as he goes.
Seems that way. That's good stuff.
The dagger.
So G-Rob, tell us a little bit about Pro Flight. We've seen you on the sidelines, usually umpiring a match, smoking a cigar on the court, sometimes maybe with a glass of bourbon or something. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Pro Flight is very different than APTA matches. Very different. And I do this as a favor to Drew. He doesn't pay me anything for it. And he asked me to come out because I umpire, most of the top APTA. I'll be heading up New Jersey, the umpires in New Jersey. So I'll be running the Montclair umpires, not Montclair, Short Hills.
Short Hills.
Grand Prix, yeah.
Forgot the question?
Yeah, I forgot the question.
No. Tell us about Pro Flight cigars.
Pro Flight.
Yeah, so Drew runs great matches, and he does his thing with Pro Fight. I don't get involved on the business side of what he does, but I volunteer to do his matches, and he keeps it very casual.
Yeah, but didn't you burn him once with a cigar during a match? Is that true?
He ran into me.
Oh, he ran into you
because they didn't have a chair. So I was like, Drew, I'm a little apprehensive. Somebody runs into me. I got a bad hip. Next thing you know, I go down. He's like, oh, come on, nobody's going to run into you. And of course, he runs into me. I've got a cocktail in my hand and a cigar.
He's a little guy. Did you hip check him?
Not with a bad hip.
He bounced.
No, not with a bad hip. Just drop the shoulder on him then.
He actually bounced off of me.
That's like the person running into the knife, right?
Yeah.
That's the defense.
I always wondered that. Why don't they do the chair with the Pro Flight?
Because they're just not organized enough. I think he wants to. I mean,
What?
listen, I'm not knocking him, but the chairs, believe it or not, the chairs are not easy to get. These freaking chairs.
No, there's not many of them.
No, there's not many of them, and they transport them all over the place. So we're already working on getting them from Philly up to Short Hills. So Drew, when he runs his pro flight, he always calls me 2 days in advance. Hey, can you do it? I come out, stand on the side of the court, do it. I announce, smoke a cigar, scotch or whatever. But they don't have chairs now. The League Classic, I've done the finals there a couple times, and I was smoking a cigar up in the chair with a cocktail. Go figure.
Are you and John Anderson good friends?
Yeah, John Anderson
Okay.
are good friends. J.A., yeah, we smoke a cigar once in a while.
I assume so. All right.
But the APTA matches are very, very different.
A little more buttoned up.
You got to be. And it is a very interesting group of top 16 players and their personalities that are so different, and how you manage, matches. Some of them push you, some of them test you, some of them argue calls and they have no business to. But they're pushing you to try and see if you give them a call at some point later in the match. But they're much more buttoned up. I actually drank a beer before finals of nationals with Durant and Mitchell playing. Who did they play at Canubra a couple of years ago in the rain?
Oh, Mick and Sven.
Mick and Sven.
Yeah, I think it was Mick and Sven. And I had a beer before I went up in the chair. And, Mike Yaminski who heads up the umpires came up to me and said, hey, Durant wasn't happy that you were drinking a beer before he got up in the chair. And it kind of bothered me when he said it. And I'm only bringing it up on this podcast because since then, I actually kind of agree with him. When it comes to those matches, this is their livelihood. They're playing for points, for money and all that kind of stuff. Even if it's one beer, it's not the impression, or it's not what I want to portray as a head umpire for the ATPA. So
That's fair.
So you said some players argue with you. Is there anyone that you like? Oh, we're gonna go at
The
it.
usual suspects.
yeah,
Come on.
it's your usual. I mean, you got some couple of guys from Chicago, Tyler Frazier.
Hey, he's not one of us.
All right.
That's Cincy.
He's a Cincinnati guy. We're not taking Tyler.
My bad. My apologies. But I mean, I got berated once or twice by them. Wanna rise.
Tyler and Adam, you mean?
That's correct. Yeah.
Adam's a Chicago guy. We'll take him.
But they've been tough. Look, Zabori, who played with Florentine Zabori, absolutely laced me in a match. Are you fucking kidding me? And just laced me. And at the end of the day, you got to call it like you see it. You got to stick with it. And that's the end of the conversation. And that's kind of the personality that I have in the chair. So over the past couple of years, people don't really question me or push me as much as they did when I first started doing this a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Did Floor calm her down? That seems to be the way that relationship goes.
No, well, listen, it's funny because Zabori and I have talked about it. I've umpired her, 10 times, and we laugh at it now because she was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" In every match is one fucking call, and she throws her racket. I'm like, "Oh my god, oh my god!" And now we joke about it, but
That's awesome.
it's fun. I donate the time. I don't take a check from the APTA. I just give back to the game, and
That's great.
yeah.
So I do have to say, in all seriousness, it's hard to hear a lot of times when people don't have the judges don't have bigger voices sometimes. So you can always tell when you're a judge because you're very audible and very distinct, which is seriously is great. I mean, when you're listening, on a live stream or whatever, it's fantastic. So keep it up.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And it also it has not like I'm an A-type personality, but it has an authoritative control type of
Sure.
that you want to portray that you're in control of the matchup there. So
I got to tell you, I've always thought it's, especially for someone like me with ADD that can't focus even when I'm playing my own point. I've always thought being an umpire is really hard. You have a really long rally. You can kind of zone out, shut off, start looking around, especially if you're sitting up high, you could probably look around. I've always thought being an umpire is a really tough job.
Concentrate on.
What is?
The women's matches are a little harder to concentrate on. But yeah, I mean, I write it down, but you're right. Sometimes 50, 60, 70 points. I have fucking no clue what the score is.
You do realize this is being recorded, right?
Just go with the old 30-all.
No, I have it written down, but you're right. Sometimes it's hard. I mean, it's cold as shit up there. Sometimes you're keeping score and your hands are freezing and I never zone out. That's for sure.
I would.
But there's a selfish reason why I umpire. And I've learned so much from watching players' shot selection and moving, and it's ridiculous how much you learn by the way they do it. And by the way, these pros, 90% of the balls that are just out, they play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it makes it a little easier for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting commentary.
That's good to hear. I gotta tell you, the person that is the worst at keeping track of the score when they're playing, Marshall Chapin. I've played a lot with Marshall and I've played against Marshall. I gotta tell you, literally every point, what's the score? I'm like, fuck, you're the head umpire. Come on, Marshall.
Nice.
He's like, dude, I'm not working right now.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I can't comment on Marshall.
Marshall, come on, man. Yeah.
I was supposed to umpire the men's and women's finals up in Boston last week. And with the hip, it was just a little too soon to travel. But some umpires are better than others. Listen, it's not easy to find them. Trust me, it's not easy to find them. I have 7 umpires coming to Short Hills, people that I recruited. We trained them. We had them pass the test to do umpiring. And so we have 7 people, 2 of them coming down from Connecticut. We've got a good crew, but there have been tournaments like Montclair. They couldn't find, I wasn't around for Montclair, I was out of the state. They couldn't find anybody. It's hard.
No, I'm how much I enjoy paddle. I've actually got favorite umpires that I like. You're one of them, and then I like Mike. I can never say his last name.
Yeah, him.
And then, a listener of the show, by the way, always wears the hat.
He always wears the hat. What a good dude. And then Marshall. I think Marshall's actually a really good umpire. I think he's terrible at keeping the score when he's playing himself, but as an umpire, I think he calls the score loud. He's straight up. He controls the match. You guys are my top 3.
I give a shout out to Mike Yaminski. He's a good friend of mine, and he's taken me under his wing, and now he's handed off New Jersey to me. So all tournaments that go through New Jersey, I oversee and recruit. I set up the schedules and all that stuff. And Mike's a great dude.
Yeah, and there's not a single board meeting or anything that he goes to paddle related that he's not trying to recruit more umpires. He's constantly trying to push it out. Now, I'm like, I would love to do it, but I don't think I could sit in a chair for 3 hours in the freezing cold. And I'm like Marshall, like I cannot keep the score. I don't know who's serving. I don't know anything that goes on as soon as that point's over. So I'm like, I would be the worst umpire in the world. So
tell you what, don't drink any liquid when you go up in the chair either.
Oh my God, you guys are up there. It's terrible. Yeah. All right, we're gonna go back to Ara's outline. Right. I need to know about your intros. We've been told they're legendary. Howard Cosell like.
That's yes.
Oh man, I wish we had a clip. I think that's on somewhere. If you YouTube, you can find the intro.
Can you do one right now for us?
Oh my God.
We'll give you a player.
So
let's do a Sven.
Thank you for playing. I appreciate you inviting me to the tournament, and we're gonna play great. I think I'm playing with Mick. He's got the best ass in all of paddle. Okay, well, there's your Sven.
That's actually a good lead-in, Greg. So we've also
God.
heard about these legendary top 5 lists that you have. You have
Jesus.
categories for everything. So why don't we start with the one you just said? So who are the top 5 best asses in paddle?
Come on, man.
This is where we get shut down, Noah.
Yeah, this is where this whole thing.
Tell me if I'm going too far. I'm
South.
just the guest host here, right?
This is why we have an explicit rating on Spotify.
Yeah. So
That's
we've
just
got
me.
we have top 5 lists, and this is just playing paddle 20 to 25 years, guys sitting around the fire pit after and drinking and getting shit faced, and we'd come up with lists just for the hell
Oh,
of it.
let's
You know,
do it.
the top 5, whatever it may be. So we have the top 5 best forehands in paddle, right? The top 5 grinders in paddle, the top 5 volleyers, the top 5 lobbers, top 5 foot faulters, right? Top 5 worst line callers in paddle. And then it goes on and on and on. Top 5 nicest guys to play with in the paddle community is a very tough, to make it onto that top 5. I will shout out to John de Grand Prix of Park Lakes, and John was inducted to the top 5 nicest guys to play with in the paddle community.
I got to put Tyler Owens in there. That guy
Better than
puts up
being
with me
indicted.
many times a year.
Mad respect for that. A lot of
Yeah.
respect for that.
So
Yeah.
give us an example, Greg. Like, so
Yeah, share
so
some of the top
what's the
fives.
top 5?
Come on.
What's a good top? Who are the top 5 angriest players?
Oh man. Well, you've got quiet angry, and then you got verbally angry, right? So verbally angry, Keith Maddox. He's an angry guy.
I don't even know Keith, but that's just
If he
such a great
calls a
line.
ball
I like
out,
it.
if he calls a ball out and his partner thinks it in, he's going to say, no, it was out. Let's move on. And I love Keith. Keith's a good friend. Keith's a good friend of mine. But, I don't know if I should go into the top 5 angriest guys, but there are guys, top 5 racket throwers.
Who's that?
That would be a good one.
Yeah, you've got, you've
I
got
hate
Mike.
racket throwers.
Yeah, but there's a very graceful way to throw a racket.
You've got to go towards the snowboard. The guys that tomahawk that, I will run out of my hut and I will tell someone off like a small child when they tomahawk it down onto the court. And you cut
you
that
can't
shit
do
out.
that.
You do that at your club. You do not do that here. I'll be calling your pro tomorrow, and you can pay the bill for the fixing that court.
Yeah,
The
well, I'm
that
talking about guys.
tomahawk a paddle is shitty.
Yeah, but we have guys that throw them out of the court, man.
Yeah,
It's
launch it for
beautiful.
distance.
Oh, I like that. That's
and
awesome. Yeah.
the paddle just rises out of the court. Like Atkinson threw one out of the court one time, and it landed out on the highway. It was so beautiful, and skidded under a car that drove by. So there have been people that have thrown them. Tim McDougal, who was a New Jersey guy, now he's up in Boston. Great racket thrower. Brent Hardy threw a racket that landed about 75 feet up into a tree, and walked away. We just left the racket. So there are some good racket throwers out there.
Oh, nice. I like that one. I was playing a match. Noah, the Lake Forest Club.
Yeah.
The 2 courts on either side of the hut. It was like the last match before nationals, or it was some big tournament I was meant to be playing. We lost the match. I just fucking tomahawked my paddle out into the woods out the back. And the second that thing left my hand, I go, shit, I got a tournament this weekend. And I had to walk through like 2.5 feet of snow to find my paddle at 11 o'clock at night in the woods.
Beautiful.
In the snow. Luckily, it was a tourna grip, and it landed like head down with the grip pointing out. So I managed to find it. But that was my best throw.
Yeah, I threw one under the net by accident. I was trying to throw it into the net, and it bounced underneath the net and almost hit Ian McDonald.
What other top? Come on, we got to touch on another top 5. What are we? Who are your top 5 foot folders? Can we name any of the top player? We've got Ara on here. Well, I would like to say I kind of started Football Friday. Ara perfected it. So can we name some foot folders?
Well, Steve Burnt, right? He's got to be one of the. He's got to win there. Chuck Faig is another Chuck Fade literally and I love Chuck. We play a lot of golf in the summer. Chuck Fade steps well into the court. Hank Whiting steps into the court. Ari, you know who these people are. There are some atrocities of people, halfway into the court. There was a guy we played, not at Englewood. I forget the club, but he literally ran and jumped into the court.
Is that would that be from Haworth, perhaps?
Yes.
He doesn't actually foot fault though.
I know. He actually makes contact.
He's my partner in the Partners League, by the way. That's
just
Rob Barabee from Haworth.
Yeah, but you're right. He doesn't foot fault. So there's a lot of them out there.
Yeah,
I tell you. Oh, go ahead, R.
I was going to say the interesting part about that is the way G Rob and I first met was because I put him on Foot Fault Friday. that's how we actually even met each other. And then that Tuesday after was when we actually had a match set up together to play each other. So
I did hear this story. That's a great one.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Let's go into this.
All right. So I posted somebody sent it to me. I didn't know who he was at the time, right? I was relatively new. Somebody sent it to me and I was like, all right, I'll post it. I don't know. They said, oh, he's an umpire. I said, even better. That's great. I even put it in there. I was like, Greg Robertson, APTA umpire, can't follow his own rules, foot faulter, something like that. And all I heard was that he was like, who is this guy? Like,
gonna fucking kill him.
It's gonna kill him. So I asked my friend, I was like, give me a cell phone number. So I texted him, I was like, I'm the guy that put you on Football Friday. He's like, you're fucking dead. He's like, you're dead.
I remember you telling me about this.
Right?
Yeah.
But what he didn't know was that Tuesday, I guess I had a match with him. So I was arriving late. I mean, it was all the way down in I don't even know where it was, Springbrook or wherever. It's far, there's a lot of traffic. So I was arriving late. My partner had gotten there. And G-Rob's like, where is this guy? Like, we're in a tight time crunch. And I told my partner, I said, just tell him Ara really likes Chick-fil-A. So he just wanted to stop and have some Chick-fil-A. And he's like, what are you talking about, Chick-fil-A? So anyway, finally I get there and I'm wearing at the time it was Master Boys, my shirt. And he was like, you. And I was like, that's right. And then we played a match and then we hung out in the hut afterwards. We became very good friends. That's how I got my invite to the Last Chance. So that was my way in. But it was a great day. We became really good friends after that, and I have not caught him on Football Friday since then. So
the key to getting the invite to the Last Chance is you have to insult Greg.
I think so. It's possible. It's one way.
Whatever works.
Hey, I got to tell you how big Foot Fault Friday is now. Scott Mansinger. You guys are obviously aware of Scott Mansinger, one of the best players ever. Scott's got a big old step serve, but he's a little injured these days. He's got this calf problem, and he is so scared that someone's going to take a picture of him and post Scott Mansinger, 12-time national champion, on Foot Fault Friday. He is trying to tweak his serve and going out and practicing. So because he's like, when my leg starts to get tired and I'm in trouble, he goes, I'm really close to foot faulting, and it's him getting a picture taken and posted is in his head all the time now when he's playing. Mission
accomplished.
Yeah, and that's a legend of the game is I don't want to get posted on Foot Fault Friday.
Listen, it's bottom line business, right? The whole point is to avoid foot faults in general, right? So it's working, right? It's a grassroots effort.
Yeah.
Good
All right, Greg.
It's great. My favorite part of it now is when Ara does a deep dive and it's hey, lost 4 out of his last 5 matches. You would think when someone cheats this badly, they wouldn't lose this much. Those are the
Last week I had when I said this guy lost 0-1 in his last match. It should have been 0-0 if he wasn't foot faulting.
Oh man, these are great. All right, let's keep going, man. Lead the way.
Keep it going. All right, Greg. So tell us about PTI. It's been a controversial topic lately. There's a lot of big opinions going on. What are your thoughts on PTI?
I mean, I struggle with it a little bit. I don't think PTI really reflects everyone's true skill level, because you're playing often with a different partner each week. So, I remember my PTI was, I think, down at 16, and I had to play with, not had to play, but, I got matched up with, in league matches with 5 different guys in 5 matches, and 2 were injured, and you know what I mean. And I'm not saying they're weaker players. It's just under the circumstances, we lose, and next thing you know, my PTI is like 20. Like, and I don't think it's really reflective. I think it's a good thought. I think, if it can evolve, then maybe I would really buy into it. But for now, I think it can be used as a guideline.
Yeah.
And I think that people should use them for social matches too.
Yeah.
And they don't.
Oh, yeah.
No one does, and they really should.
I'll argue against you on social matches. I use social matches as a way to practice and try new things.
Absolutely.
For me, I'm going to try harder in league matches, for the most part. Sometimes I'll kind of wander my way through a league match but practice matches, I wouldn't use a PTI for practice match, because I'll go out, I got invited to a match with 3 other guys the other day. They're like, hey, Ben, come play. Okay, great, I'll come play. And fucking hit a ball to me. Don't invite me to come out and play and then not hit a ball to me for 2 hours. I'm like, this was a waste of my time.
Well,
and that would bug me if that was, huh?
They needed a filler.
Warm body.
How many guys did they ask before me? And then they wouldn't hit a ball to me. So I'm like, this sucks.
But I think there's a happy medium, right? Like there's definitely matches like that you're talking about, Ben, that like, I just want to go out and try something, improve skills. And then there's some that I'm like, you know what? I want to play with my partner against those 2 guys. Let's put a little bit more on the table. Like, let's add some PTI in there.
Yeah.
And
No,
add
I like that.
a little bit of that edge to it to make it a serious match. And for that, I agree with Greg. I think you definitely should use casual, but you're right. Also, like, I don't want to use it for every single one of my matches. Sometimes I just want to go and have fun. I want to do stupid things, and I don't want that to count against me, right?
And then get all 4 players to agree.
Yeah, you have the ability to enter those.
Absolutely. No, I think that's fantastic. Yeah. And then my other one with like PTI, especially in league play, when I'm, especially for the pros in Chicago, when we play league play, I've a couple of times, one especially this year, I played a really good client of mine's husband, who's a super nice guy, who, if I'm playing him properly in league play, it's 0-0, and I'm going to FYM him, I'm going to hit rollers, cutters, I'm probably going to embarrass him a little bit. I don't want to do that. This is a really good client of mine's husband. He's a super nice guy. You know what? Let's carry him. Let's have a good match. Let's make it like a 2-3 or a 3-3. Make him feel like he had a good match. So I do that, and then my PTI gets worse because I was a nice guy and carried someone. And now I'm like, I shouldn't get worse for.
I agree with that. I totally
playing the sport how it should be played. Yes, I could go out and embarrass someone and win 0-0, but that's not the spirit of this game. I don't think. That's at least it's not in me.
Yeah, I played a league match against Sven this year at B1, and because we are pretty close friends or pretty good friends, we lost 2-2, and he could have beaten us 0-0, I'm sure, if he wanted.
Right, there it is.
It was ridiculous how good when he wanted to win a point. It was ridiculous, but we won 2-2, and I went home and I bragged to my wife or whatever.
Is that even with you hitting the machinator?
Say again?
Yeah. What
is that? Even with you hitting the machinator?
No, the motionator is
Mosh.
Motionator is
Tell us what the motionator is.
It's just something my kids call me.
Oh,
like there's a cartoon when they were younger, Moshi Monsters or some kind of cartoon, and next thing you know, I'm playing a paddle match and my daughter goes, "Yeah, motionator, you got him, kick his ass," or whatever.
And that's your Instagram now. That's your new Instagram handle.
I think it is my Instagram.
Yeah.
I think it is Instagram motionator. So
it certainly is. Also, you're into vintage cars, is that right?
I am. Yeah.
Ooh,
I saw something red in your garage. Is that right?
Yeah. So I've had.
What are you doing sneaking around his garage?
Yeah,
stalker.
trying to steal a red car.
I'm a cyber stalker. That's what
Apparently.
I do.
How did you know about my cars?
He looked at the
I know a lot.
Google image of your house. He was stalking you.
So I've had a lot of antique cars that I've collected. At one time, I think I had 3 or 4 of them, and we only have a 3-car garage. And my wife was, she was going to kill me if I didn't get rid of some of these cars. But I had a 65 Vet, 64 Mustang, 56 T-Bird.
You're a muscle car guy.
I had a Judge, and then my prize was my 64 Pontiac GTO convertible.
Ooh.
And it was the 11th GTO ever produced. So it came off the line in March of '63. Everything on it was original paint and everything. It was.
Do you restore them, or do you just like to drive them, or do you actually work
I like
on
to
them?
drive them. You know what it is if we all have our car, right? All 4 of us, we all have a car that we thought was cool, right? Noah, in high school, you wanted a Camaro or something like that.
Oh, you had a Supra, white.
It's a white Supra.
Like
But
an
you
87.
You can buy now any car you want, your dream antique car on eBay. You can buy it, drive for 5 or 6 years, and then sell it on eBay, and I guarantee you're going to make money.
Right.
Guarantee it.
Really?
Because old cars just appreciate slowly in value, and it's an asset that you can drive it and enjoy it. I think I changed my GTO oil 2 or 3 times over 8 years and never had to do anything with it. But I mean, they're hard to drive other than going local because, they overheat and stuff like that. So I recently bought an M6, BMW M6 convertible that, the technology is so different. So
you've got, unlimited funds. What's the vintage car of your choice?
It could be like a Shelby GT Mustang is one of them.
I just watched Ford versus Ferrari again the other day.
That's such a good movie.
With Kira. Oh, so good.
They're crazy.
That's a beautiful car.
Yeah. Yeah. I like mid 60s. So like a Cutlass 442.
Yeah.
67 Cutlass 442. Any of the mid-year Vets are cool cars. I would never drive a Vet now. Like this new stuff is just, I don't know.
They look pretty nice, the new ones.
I was gonna say I thought the new Vets look awesome. I'm not a connoisseur, but I saw one the other day. I was like, that looks awesome.
Yeah.
So Greg, when you're driving these vintage cars, do you ever drive to a pickleball court?
Well, I wanted to continue. I wanted to continue on to the vintage car for a second.
Keep going.
I gotta tell you, I was at a bachelor party 12 years ago, and I'm sitting next to this guy we'd never met. We get talking, and we got onto this subject. If you could buy any vintage car, or any car of your dreams, what'd you have? So I told him I'd have the Aston Martin DB5, the old Goldfinger James Bond car. I grew up on James Bond. I'm English.
Sure.
It's like, fuck yeah. About 6 months later, the same guy, he was a high-end insurance guy. So this is never going to be an issue for me. I just call Geico. But when you're buying like an airplane or like a supercar or that stuff, you don't call Geico and see what your monthly premium is. You go through a certain insurance person by all accounts. And he calls me. Right. And that's what he did. He called me and he goes, "Hey, you wouldn't believe where I am right now." I go, "No idea." He goes, "What's your dream car?" I go, "Aston Martin DB5." And he goes, "I'm sitting in the dream car." I go, "Oh, you got DB5." He goes, No. The DB5, the one from Goldfinger with the rotating license plates, Jesus. The gun turrets, all of it. He goes, it was like some Arab oil guy had bought it for like $5-6 million. And he had to check that it was all above and beyond. And he goes, "Dude, mate." So that's my car. I just had to tell it.
Out of control. But when you say that, you don't ask what the insurance premiums are, you'd be surprised. Like the premium on my GTO is like $300 a year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because for old vintage cars like that, if you when you join the insurance or sign up for the insurance, you have antique insurance. There's special insurance that you
That's
can
25 years. Is that antique?
25 years or older, but you can only drive like 3,500 miles a year or 3,000 miles a year. And I'm like, no problem. I mean, I couldn't put more than 500-600 miles on it a year. So I'm like, sign me up, $300 a year. It's cheap.
Right. Done. This is about the show when is it Ann Sheedy that hates when we talk about WWF wrestling and cars and all that shit? I think she shuts
Sounds
off
right.
when we go off of paddle and we start talking about other stuff. So I love this stuff. But let's go to pickleball. You were trying to
Yeah.
transition to pickleball.
Are you
I'm
a
sorry.
pickleball guy? Have you dabbled in padel yet? There's a new thing called naked pickleball. I'm wondering if you're into that at all.
I would like to start the bikini pickleball league. That's my thing. I'm telling you. I think that's got legs.
All right.
No,
So I
pun,
think
pun intended.
so.
But yeah.
So you and Greg and Noah and I will be the first ones in the bikini pickleball league. Is that what you're?
No. We're not going to
suggesting?
be in the bikini pickleball league. No one
not
wants
us.
to see that.
It's like, whoa,
Barf
We'll be
bags
team
included
owners.
for all the spectators.
I hope HR is not watching this.
So are you a pickleball guy or not so much?
I've played pickleball probably 5 or 6 times, and
Still waiting for it to be fun?
yeah, it's okay. My wife plays it quite a bit, and so will I play it as I get older? Maybe, I don't know. But right now, I'm not going to play any pickle tournaments. I'm not too hyped up to play about it. But it's funny because last night I went up to the paddle courts at Field Club, just talking, hanging out with the guys and having a beer, and they're talking about trying to form a business plan and build padel courts in New Jersey, like develop a small club, get a bunch of investors and do it, because padel supposedly what they're saying is like ridiculous.
Well, I know
Dude,
just
I love
recently,
watching those videos.
Wanaraya and Mark Fischel and Patricio and I think Jared Palmer, I think, or
Really?
Mark Parsons. So one of them they're opening a facility called Sports House. It's like padel facility as well
Isn't
as
it-
pickleball.
Is it sports house, tennis house?
No, it's called Sports House because it's
Cool.
it's padel, it's pickle, and it's golf simulators. I think they're building it in Connecticut.
Nice.
If I'm not mistaken, in April, I think they're going live with it. So that should be pretty cool.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah.
That's
Piece of
fantastic.
property, right?
Yeah, Rudy Khalil here. Just Noah, you've been, right? I keep
Yep.
meaning to hook up with Rudy and we never get it done, but he's just opened a big facility here in Chicago. People love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
It's exciting.
So Greg, what do you do when you're not playing paddle?
I drink a lot.
What do you drink?
Atta boy. What are we drinking right
How do you
now?
drink it?
I'm drinking Tito's and tonic right now.
Nice.
Good.
Is that's a Dave Broderick special, I believe, isn't it?
That is.
Oh, look at
Yeah.
this. Yeah, he's got single malt going. I like it, man.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Port Charlotte.
Yeah.
Good stuff. If you like really
Very
smoky whiskeys, this is great scotch.
Yeah. I play a ton of golf. I play a ton of golf in the summer. I'm at Springbrook and I'm at Field Club for paddle. I joined Park Lakes also. So those guys are nuts. They play
Are you going to play at Park Lakes too?
Well, I mean, I know a lot of the guys, some of the guys from high school, like Aki and I went to high school together, and a few other guys there. But I just joined it to be social with them.
Okay.
And, will I play during the summer? Last summer, the first year, I probably played 4 or 5 times, but that was it. But I play mostly a lot of golf.
So you said Steve DeRose is your pro, right, at your club?
Correct.
I'm assuming as skilled a rackets player as he is, he can probably swing a golf club.
He might play golf once a year.
Really?
And he's maybe, I would guess, a 12 handicap.
Once a year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lubau's a good golfer. I'll throw him props. Lubau's a really good golfer.
Now, who
I played with
who is,
Steve and Lubau a couple times.
who you want to go top 5 list? Who are the top 5 paddle players as golfers? I think I used to be on that list. My old Paddle Hacks. Ari, you've listened to the episodes. Matt, I think would have put me in that top 5 list, but I don't play
Denny
anymore.
English.
I've got kids and I like to spend time with them these days, so I don't play golf anymore. But
Johan's a big golfer, I think, right?
Johan's a scratch golfer, I think.
Is he? Okay. I know Blake, I think, is like a 7.
Is he really?
He is. Yeah, Blake's a solid golfer. Lubau is a solid golfer. I didn't know Durant was scratch, but it doesn't
makes sense though, doesn't it?
It makes sense, but I don't know enough about all those.
I've heard that Flip Goodspeed's a really good golfer. I think Mark and John are both big golfers. And hey, I got to tell you, I know we're bigger on the East Coast as far as this show than we are in Chicago. Still, people are like, "Wait, you have a podcast here in Chicago?" But when we're out in the East Coast, every once in a while, though, I find out that someone listens to the show, and I go, "That's so fucking cool! I love that." And Noah was just out in Boston, and Mark Powers goes to him, "Why haven't you released an episode in 3.5 weeks?" I was like, "Yes, Mark Powers listens to the show." I'm like, "Yes."
Yep.
Yeah.
It was even funnier when I told him why. It was because Ben's K on his keyboard wasn't working, and he needed that to enter his password in the computer.
It was the R button, actually.
R, sorry.
I couldn't get into
both Powers and Hughes, absolute class act. They're
just
those guys.
Yeah.
Not only
Oh no, we lost them.
Oh, we lost him just as he was giving compliments.
Should we?
We'll get him back.
I hope so. Hang on. And we're back.
We are back, and we're about an hour deep. So before we get into the speed round, G-Rob, just want to give you an opportunity to do, to give us a little bit of background about APTA umpire. Tell us if anybody out there is interested, how do they get in? How do they reach you? Like, how do they become an APTA umpire? What's that process like?
Well, first of all, the process is fairly simple, right? Marshall Chapin is a guy you can reach out to. Mike Yahaminski, you can reach out to, or they can, in New Jersey, they can reach out directly to me because I oversee just the umpires for the New Jersey APTA tournaments. And so logistically, it's fairly easy, right? Nothing exciting. It's fairly easy, but I will tell you is it's crazy fulfilling. Like you think, oh my God, I'm up in the chair. I'm going to make a wrong call. It's not exciting, whatever. It is. It's everything like that and more. I totally dig it being up in the chair. Of course, it's better if it's a little warmer versus really freezing out. There've been some cold matches, but when we manage the umpires, we don't have one person up there for 2-3 matches in a row. They'll go up for one match and 2.5 hours gets cold, but they have heated seats. People wear heated gloves, heated socks. I have a heated vest and stuff like that. And you dress warm and it's not as bad as you think. But it's crazy fulfilling because not only are you giving back to the game, but the players do most of it. I tell the players before we start, I'm handling the match. If somebody's leaning over the net, if somebody is foot faulting, it's going to be an immediate call. But other than that, they're calling the points. It's not like I have to see the other side of the court. Was a ball in or not? And it's hard to see. But the players will call it. And if I've definitively agreed with it, I'll say call stands. But if I definitively agree or feel that it was not the right call, I'll overturn it. And then that's the end of it. Very rare do you have people that are, they get pissed off or anything like that. But it is crazy, crazy fulfilling. Logistically, it's fairly easy to do. You have to pass a test, maybe study for an hour or two so you know the rules of paddle. A lot of people don't know the rules. There's players in the APTA that don't know certain rules. So
look at Ara's website every his Instagram every Friday. People don't know one of the big rules.
Yeah. The foot fault. So, but we call it. I had a female player. I think I called 3 foot faults in a row, man. 3 foot faults in a row, and she was not happy. She wasn't pissed at me. She just stopped and said, "Just tell me what I'm doing. Is it my front foot or my back?"
Was that at a pro flight event, by the way?
No.
Oh,
No,
okay.
it was not
I thought that was at the recent pro flight event.
No,
Was it
but
Mrs. Gebbia?
Maybe
wasn't
someone
Lauren.
close to her. Maybe someone close to her.
Okay.
It wasn't Lauren. But I think one of the first matches I had was a round of 16. And I had Durant and Mitchell versus, I can't remember who they were playing. And I got up in the chair and I dropped my clipboard as they were switching side. It landed on Durant's head. Oh, looks up like, what the fuck? So, but I've had so much fun with these guys, and it's so fulfilling. Parsons, Araya, we're playing Mick and Sven in a quarterfinal match. And for some reason up in Connecticut, their match wasn't live streamed. Their match was on streaming, but there was no audio for it, and they knew it. So before the match started, I still did introductions. I still handled it the way I normally do. But I said, guys, does anybody have any questions? They said, no, we're all set, G-Rob. And I said, by the way, after this match is over, I'll be putting on a brief 10-minute cutter exhibition for those who are interested at $10 a man. And the 4 of them literally just passed out laughing. And so you get to have fun with the guys like that. You really do. And in between matches, you can bullshit and have fun with them, get to know them. In between matches, they don't treat you like an umpire. They're not looking for anything. It's total professionalism. It really is.
Yeah. And I always think, how that the players are they're nice guys, they're good dudes. Often I've seen it a number of times now at like a big tournament. We see it mainly at charities where a match is going on and then they'll start and they'll be like 2-3 all, whatever it is. And then the main court finishes and between changeovers, they'll be like, hey guys, do you mind switching courts to move over so we can get you on the live stream? And all the guys are like, yeah, no problem, no big deal, we'll move courts. And they're just easygoing, good guys. So for the most part, I would assume, umpiring these guys is fairly stress-free.
It is fairly stress-free. I've only had, 3 or 4 stressful encounters, but when it's over, when the match is over, it's over. Nobody takes it with them. So it's good.
That's good.
But thanks for letting me put that plug in, I appreciate it. Umpiring is a blast.
All right.
Well, we appreciate you doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think
let's
time for the speed round. Is that right?
Yeah. All right, lead the way on this, man. Go.
All right, Greg.
No, I got to take it back. Noah has to ask the first question.
Oh, go ahead.
Outside of the first question, it's all you, Ira. Do it.
I know the answer to this for Greg because he's a real man. So
you never know. You never know.
Catch me out. This will be a surprise, Greg. But when flying, you're not afraid of flying, right?
Nope.
All right. When you fly, neck pillow, yes or no?
No.
Why?
There wasn't even a hesitation.
Why?
Neck pillow. I mean,
that's right. There you go. That's a Jersey answer.
Man.
Right. Neck pillow.
Oh, man. Get
I'm
my
not
pork roll and
anti-Chicago,
cheese sandwich,
guys.
Get on the plane, and I'm good to go.
Wait, a Taylor ham sandwich? Is that what you get?
Taylor ham, egg, and cheese in New Jersey, man.
Okay.
Pork
All
roll,
right.
cheese, Taylor ham, egg, and cheese.
We got to stop right here. For the benefit of everyone outside of New Jersey, would you please explain what Taylor ham
No
is?
one can explain what it is
We
correctly.
can't figure it out. It sounds like it's ham.
It's a pork roll.
Taylor ham it's really a pork roll. It's really a pork roll.
What's the roll part? It's just like it's
It's a pork roll sandwich, but it's a pork roll, they call it, because it's a round pork roll. So in New Jersey, it is the go-to sandwich. And you get a pork roll, egg and cheese, little salt and pepper on a bun, and you get
What kind of bun?
just a potato roll or something like that.
Okay.
But the egg you can get either scrambled or you can get it over easy. Oh, I get it over easy because when you
Over
bite
easy.
into it, all the shit gushes all over your hands and stuff, and it's a messy sandwich. But North Jersey eats pork roll, egg and cheese with ketchup on it, and South Jersey eats their pork roll, egg and cheese with mustard on it.
Wow.
Which is better?
Ketchup.
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 I think.
It has to be ketchup.
All right. So what's the difference between pork roll and a normal piece of ham?
Oh, it's very
A
different.
normal piece of ham is like a
Obviously.
square piece of ham that you buy in a store. You know, it's paper
Well,
thin.
it's processed
Pork
ham. Yeah,
roll
yeah.
is a 1/4 inch thick.
Pork roll's processed too, I think. I think
Sure
they're
it
both processed. It's just thicker, it's greasier. I don't know. It's just
I
better.
don't know. Ben is clear as mud to me. I'm not sure. I mean, it's like you slice a piece of ham off, and that's your pork roll. Apparently, I don't know.
It's not ham.
Doesn't-
Of a Taylor ham, egg, and cheese sandwich.
There we go. This is live podcasting at its
man.
best right here.
Hey, this is absolute classic. This is
Use your chat GPT,
this
Greg,
picture
to
right here. That
oh, it's a ham sandwich.
no,
Not a ham
Oh.
sandwich.
you can see the pork roll. Look at the pork in there. He's got 3 or 4 thick pieces of pork with the egg. It's got cheese on it. Man, I just want to.
That's got ketchup on top.
Mm.
Does
Oh,
Yep,
so it's
that's
north.
that's a North
Greg's
Jersey. That's a
running
North
out to one of
Jersey.
those Jersey delis that's open all night, right? Or to grab his Taylor
and
ham
you
sandwich.
see it's called Taylor ham, egg, and cheese.
Well, it's
For
'cause what
those of you
search
on
for.
the listening on the podcast, if you go to the YouTube channel for Inside the Wires, you can actually see what Greg is talking about. He's got that pork roll up on the screen, and it looks good.
And what he looks like, so you can identify him next time when you since he's been talking about you for foot faulting and everything else. So all right, but back to the speed.
All
round.
right, G-Rob.
Speed
All right.
round.
So, as an APT umpire, do you prefer to be loved or feared?
Wow, that's a great question. How many seconds do I have to answer that?
We'll give you some time.
Go with 3. Respected.
Definitely 100% respected. 100%. It's greater to be respected than liked from the players. And if you are respected, you will be liked. Feared, I don't use that. I wouldn't want to use that word feared. You know why? Because there've been APTA umpires that sort of control the match by saying, hey, the call stands, shut up, move on. And you sort of piss some of the players off. So the trick is really to maintain total control of that match through respect, and you will be liked for that. And I think that's the category I try and fall into. I don't want people to fear me, because I think then it would create a lot of animosity and problems on the court.
Yeah, could change the game, right? Change the game. You don't want to do that, right?
It could.
So what's the most controversial call you've made during a match?
I made a call that unfortunately was literally almost 2 points in a row against the guys that I mentioned early in the podcast from Chicago.
And Cincinnati.
One of them.
Yeah. And so we know who they are, but they were playing a Riot and Parsons, and it was brutal. They stopped the match, and he's, one of them was yelling, are you trying to rig this match? I mean, are you trying to have us lose this match? What the hell are you doing? And you know what? I maintain composure, and I get it that they're competitive, right? You see tennis players always questioning and getting pissed off in the court or in the tennis world. And these guys are, the rackets guys, obviously, and they get heated. And I'm telling you, it was not an easy situation.
Yeah.
Not easy to maintain control, but I found that if I stay level-headed,
Yep.
then it sort of de-escalates them. But that was not easy.
Can I jump in on the side of the players real quick?
Yeah.
I think sometimes because you often sit in the stands and a player will make a tight call, and everyone in the stands sitting there having a beer goes, well, that was in. I think sometimes when you're a player that ball's coming over you in a tight match, and you want that ball to be out so badly that I think, different angles and stuff too. But I don't think guys go into it thinking they want to cheat, or, hey, if it lands on the line, I'm going to call it out. I do think at times guys, they want that ball to be out so badly that they physically, they see it out because they want it to be out so badly. So
Well,
that's
it's
kind of where I
interesting.
would get.
Listen, it's totally interesting that you say that, but I don't know if I've really experienced a lot of that. And I say that because I get a sense that the top players, and I'm talking, these are the top 16 to 18 teams, right? That mostly that I umpire. These guys, I think the fear that they have is calling a ball out when it was so close.
Yep.
That if the other team questioned it, I could overrule it and say, no, it was in.
Yep.
You should have played it. So I think part of that, why the players play, 90% of the balls that are out, they just rather win the point.
Yep.
At least the top players. That's what I get a sense of.
Oh, absolutely. And I got to tell you, one time I was playing. We'll name drop Marshall Chapin again, head umpire. I was playing a tournament with Marshall Chapin, and we're playing a team, and they must have hooked us like 5 or 6 times, like to the point where Marshall's a super nice guy. He won't say anything. And he's like, guys, come on. What are we doing? And Marshall and I are at the net, and I've decided, this ball gets driven through us and it lands square on the line. I'm like, out. And Marshall turns around and goes, guys, I'm so sorry. That ball was in. Let's replay the point. Marshall, what the fuck? They've screwed us over like 5 or 6 times. I'm doing a payback call here. He goes, you need to tell me when you're going to cheat. And we'll make sure. I go, it's just a payback call, Marshall. They've been screwing us over all match long. He goes, just let me know when you're going to cheat. Okay.
He let you replay the point?
I want to say that we replayed the point, but I think he may have just given it to them because they'd hit it so big through us that it actually it went off the line.
Listen, the rules have changed, but if you asked me the most difficult situation I've ever seen in paddle is clearly about 7 years ago at Nationals at Brookside, when Mark Bliss was umpiring the semis. And I love Mark Bliss, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. But he was put in a very difficult position by Uline in the semis. It was like third set, 5-all or 4-5 or something. And there was a call that was made, and the other team, no way, that was out. And it got really heated. And Mark, it just came out of his mouth immediately. And he wasn't 100% sure. He wanted to do the right thing, but both sides ate him up for it. And I felt so badly for him because I love Mark, but Uline inevitably lost the match, walked off the court and took his racket. And, kudos to him because he didn't hit anybody with the racket or didn't throw at anybody. He's got a temper, but he slammed his racket down inside his paddle bag probably 15 times. So the racket just shattered, splintered. Splinters were flying everywhere. And he grabs his bag, storms off the court, went straight to the airport. Flew home in his jet.
With a neck pillow. With a neck
pillow. Is that still a trunk slam when you fly home in your jet?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a different trunk, but yes, it is.
All right, G-Rob, what's your favorite band of all time?
My favorite band of all time. My favorite band of all time.
Don't you dare say the Grateful Dead.
No.
Good man.
I would have to say Queen.
Oh,
with Adam Lambert?
No.
Dude, Adam Lambert is good though.
He
does a good job though.
Like
Adam
old
Lambert.
Queen,
to
me,
amazing.
Is just great. I mean, they have some of the best music in history and some of the stupidest songs in history. But I love, Freddie Mercury going out on a limb and doing what he did in his time. I love Queen.
Okay.
Oh, great answer.
So this is a big one. As an umpire, what changes in the rules would you like to see?
Oh, wow.
Can we lead the witness?
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
How about lobs? Staying. If you hit a good, I think this rule should change. I think it was very close to being changed, and it would only be an issue in warmer weather. When you hit a good lob, so that ball, you've got to swing from low to high, and you hit a good lob and it goes over them and bounces and then
Out of the
leaves
court.
the playing area, that's a good shot that you just got punished for. Obviously, overheads and bashing that ball and leaving the court, you can't do that. But if you hit a good lob that's good and deep and high and it bounces and then goes out, you shouldn't be punished for that. Because I think it would change the game, especially in warm weather, where a good high lob goes up. Now they're like, oh, I've got to short hop this, or I've got to take it out of the air. I think it makes I think that would make a change. Not during the major part of the season, but definitely early season and later season. I think it would be an interesting play.
It's a great thought.
It's controversial.
I wouldn't be opposed to
I
that.
know.
No, I mean, you guys got me stumped. I really don't know. I think
I got another one. I got another one for you.
I heard a good one this weekend at Boston on Saturday night after some drinks.
Tell me.
Extend the back line of the court deeper so that
Nice.
guys, this is for higher level guys, but benefit them. So higher level guys could hit low balls deeper in the court, have them still be in, and they'll kick off the snowboards down to points quicker.
No,
No? All right. I'll tell Philippe you don't like his idea.
I don't like Philippe's idea. I don't like his short shorts either. While we're in that,
You know what I'd like to see, and this is probably not like an APTA thing. It's probably a league thing, like a state league thing or whatever. But I would like the lower leagues, not the higher, not like your series 1 through maybe like 7. I'm making that number up, or not like our leagues like A through F or whatever in state. But I want the lower leagues to get 2 serves. Their matches go faster anyway, and the second serve would make them practice more in their first serve during a match, and I think it would improve their ability to serve. So when they got to the higher leagues, they'd actually have a serve that they weren't afraid to go for. They would actually be able to hit it more often.
So I actually think if you want to speed the game up, flip that. Give the higher level players 2 serves. The first one, they fucking go after it and they're going at the nick. And now all of a sudden you've got like a firefight with balls coming off the nick. I think it would slow the game down at a lower level, but at the higher level, you give the players 2 serves and now we're in a whole new world.
You don't think guys are going after it to begin with?
Hey,
No.
they'll go after it more if they know they've got a second serve.
Go ahead, G-Rob.
I'll give you an answer. I think one rule, and here I am sort of speaking and standing up for the pros. I think the APTA does a great job. I think there could be so much more in terms of sponsorship and money and things like that. And I'm saddened by the fact that I'll give you an example. I was hanging out with Lauren and Kerry after a match one time. They made it in Connecticut last year up to the quarters, and the entry fee was like $250. And here they go, they leave their jobs coaching, right? And they go and they hunt $250 to get into the tournament. And they get to the corners, win their $250 back, and Lauren injures her ankle, twists her ankle. So now she can't teach. And I think it's ridiculous that, and these guys are good friends of mine. So if you see me playing with one of these top players in a tournament, whether it's the Last Chance or I'm going to pick up a good player next year for the 90s at Short Hills, you can bet your ass that I'm paying them $1,500, $2,000 for the day. And I feel horrible that the APTA is not at a point where it's generating much better money, because you have guys. I don't want to mention names, but I can tell you, I can name some of the top players that you don't see playing in as many tournaments this year, because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for them to do that. They're losing money. And
that's why Chicago pros, you're not seeing Chicago pros really in the top 10. Why would we travel all over the place?
Yeah.
Because we're losing money for the weekend with massive programs here.
Right. Plus, you're putting a lot of wear and tear on the body. So look, we can't fix the problem of the APTA to generate more sponsorship. We can't. This is marketing. This is something that the APTA would need to address. But you asked about a rule. So I particularly think that when you look at these tournaments, you should have all matches up until quarters with no ad scoring. That's my personal. That would take so much wear and tear off going ad in, ad out, deuce, back and forth. At least for the earlier rounds.
Yep.
I don't think it's going to dramatically affect the change in the top players making it, to the semis and finals. But I think that would alleviate a lot of wear and tear on their body. So that would help.
So I'll tell you in Boston, I had the same conversation with, I'll probably leave names out, but some elite players, a couple of people from the APTA, about a similar situation about, people taking time away from making money for this and the wear and tear on the body. And one of the things I said was, have you thought about charging $5 more for entry fees for all the tournaments, or at least all the tour tournaments, to compensate potentially teaching pros, like buy them a short-term disability policy or something, where if they are injured. And some people said it's a good idea, and then other people said, I think they probably get that coverage through PPTR, the accrediting organization, which I didn't realize, but that actually makes sense. So I think hopefully they're protected from that. But I agree, as the game grows, that's what you have to do, right? You're absolutely taking people away from the opportunity to make money to do something that they love and enjoy, and for the benefit of a lot of fans. They certainly deserve to be made whole in a lot of ways.
Yeah. The other thing is maybe create tier 1 and tier 2, these tournaments, right? Well,
I think they're moving that way, right? With the elite and the open draws.
Yeah, it's just that. Think about 2 days versus 1 day for these tournaments.
Yeah.
So if you had
but I think a lot of the pros like 1 day where they can come in and they can play and then they can leave. That's why Pro Flight was a big one, right? They can work on they play Friday night or they play Saturday, but then they can work Friday and Sunday. They can still make some money. But, I'm going to make a comment, and this is when Amin calls me after the episode airs, but I just find it hard to believe we're in a sport where, I don't know, what are we at, 150, 200,000 people that play the sport, maybe?
Maybe 100.
No, there's more than that now. 100? Okay.
There's like 35,000 APTA members or something like
31,
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
31.
All right. Well, whatever the number is, pretty much everyone that plays the sport can afford a BMW or a high-end watch or
drink expensive craft liquor.
We can't get one of those companies to come in and sponsor, bring in some money, because literally everyone that plays the sport can afford the thing they're advertising. Like a Rolex, a Mercedes, like Chase Bank, everyone that playing is the demographic that these people want. I don't know.
Yeah.
Why are we?
The marketing can be done. I'm telling you, the marketing and the sponsorship can be gotten. I'll tell you, at my Last Chance Invitational, by the end of the tournament this year in April, I'll have $13,000 banked.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well done.
And every year the sponsorship money that I get, and look, I'm never going to take the 13,000. I don't need it, nor would I want to spend it on anything. Yeah. Or many people have said to me, you run the tournament. It's your tournament. There's nothing wrong. Run it like a pro would and make profit on it. But I don't feel that way. And, these guys, the tournament gets subsidized every year. So I'll take the money that I get in sponsorship that year, and about 3/4 of it, I'll put towards subsidizing all of the extravagant things that we do. Mm-hmm. So the players still, I don't want players to play for $50 a man. I'm okay with them paying 100, 120, because no one cares.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'm slowly stockpiling this money. And at some point, I'm going to fly in 8 pros. We're going to have a massive blowout. We're going to have money for the pros and make a big thing of it.
That's awesome.
Noah and I talked about next year, the giveaway would be a Xenon racket.
That's worth a lot.
What a freaking, what a giveaway, right? I mean, we've done
Special
Patagonia
edition.
jackets, and we've done spider jackets, and we've done, I mean, it's ridiculous, the stuff that we've done. But again, I don't want to go off on a tangent with the Last Chance, but I do think that pros should make more money, and the rule, which we can't change, but the rule change, I think, would be no ad scoring up until maybe the round of 16s to keep it, or the round of 8, whatever, to keep it moving faster, so it's less taxing on their bodies.
I like that. I'm a terrible no ad player, so it would suck for me. But all right, let's keep rolling. Let's knock out these last few. All
right, why don't we just do 2 more questions and then we'll wrap it
up?
up?
Come on, there's a few good ones in there. Let's see what we can do.
All right, I mean, I can keep going. So, what are the
Pick
two?
the good
What
ones.
two players, past or present, would you like to see teamed up?
Would I like to see teamed up?
Yep. I mean, you mentioned DeRose being one of the best ever before. If he's,
I don't think DeRose is one of the best players ever. I think DeRose is the best player to ever touch a paddle racket.
Hmm.
And
Wow.
and I think he's the nicest guy. I know he's right there with Durant, but what makes Steve such a great guy is Steve played in a number of nationals, and of course he wanted to win, but he played with Lubau. He could have played with Broderick and won 6 nationals. He could have played with Palmer. He could have played with anyone in the country. Steve could have played with. So I would love to see Steve, because now he can play lefty at our club, and he could just dominate a court lefty. It's a comedy show.
That's crazy.
So who you want to put him with, though? Who you want to put him as a
I'd
partner?
love to see DeRose be partnered with like Jared Palmer.
Nice.
Yeah, or maybe
What about like a Flip Goodspeed, Scott Mansinger, Dave Ohlmuller, going back a little further?
Pete Grunberg.
Or Patty Hogan?
Pete Grunberg's
What? What's wrong with
national
that?
champion.
In the Dick Squires Invitational this weekend.
That's right.
Hey, real quick, off that, how's Dave Ohlmuller doing? Dave-O. Yeah, he's in Jersey these days, correct?
Yes, I haven't seen him in probably 4 years.
Okay. All right. Well, if you
really
guys do run across him, tell him we said hi.
I
Dave's a
saw him
good
at
guy.
Montclair, actually. I saw him at the Montclair tournament at the beginning of the season.
Oh,
He was-
really? I
he
didn't
was
see
doing
him.
good.
Good.
I did. Drew, I actually didn't recognize him since it's been a number of years, and Drew introduced him. So, yeah,
Okay.
seemed to be doing
All
well.
right.
All right.
Good.
Next player, man or woman, to win nationals that hasn't won it yet.
Male or female?
Male or female? Yeah.
Man.
Asking the guy who can influence that action.
Yeah, I can influence this. I mean, on the women's side, Zabori and Flora just have been so dominant for the past 2 years. I don't know on the women's side. What's her name? Macy, I think, is an outstanding player. That her game is growing like wicked fast. I think her with the right partner could definitely win a nationals on the women's side.
Well, she did win one with
She won in
the right
2020.
partner a
She
couple
won
of years
one,
ago.
Oh, did she
But
win
she-
nationals?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
she won
could win the
20.
next. So maybe
Oh, yeah,
Lynn
I
would
take
be
it
the answer,
back.
right?
My bad. My
2020 in
mistake.
Diria with Marcella Rodez.
But now she's
Marcelo
playing with
Rodesno,
Lynn, so
fantastic partner.
yeah. So now she's playing with Lynn. They're doing really well in their first year together. Maybe that's
Absolutely.
That might be your answer. The
One,
next
right.
player, Lynn Kiro.
That's Link here is a great, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Outstanding.
And in the men, you think Tyler Fraser always seems to be the one. So
Tyler
I
Fraser.
assume it would be him and Adam.
Fraser's got a ridiculous amount of talent.
Yep.
Ridiculous. I think he can play with. If he plays with Adam, I think they can win nationals.
Yeah.
Don't you?
I don't know if they go that 5 or 6
What about
matches.
Morgan?
Adam's good. He's fiery.
And you got
I don't
Humphreys
know.
out there. I mean, you got
I'm a big Fleet Rams fanboy.
Rams.
Fleet Rams
Humphreys,
is my guy.
Stole your shorts.
Humphreys is getting there, but he's. I mean, look, they just took a set off.
Any foot faults?
He doesn't but fault anymore.
Not anymore. Did he fix that?
Already
He
lost.
doesn't.
He's left-handed. Any foot faults.
It's
It's like
I mean,
criminal.
that's twice now they've taken a set off Durant and Mitchell.
Yeah,
So
that's a good thing.
certainly Humphreys is,
Yeah, but did you see what happened after they did that this weekend?
yeah, the next set
Holy.
was, I don't know what, I mean,
Well, they won 12 of the next 13 games.
Yeah.
Yes.
well,
Durant,
look what
yeah.
happened in it. Look what happened in the finals. I
That was
mean,
the finals. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
finals, that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy.
that was quick.
Yeah, and I think we got 3 more questions I'm seeing here.
Best match you've ever officiated.
Durant and Mitchell, Powers, Hughes.
Any of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're always
Yeah.
great matches, but that's probably the 2 strongest matches where literally the players are moving so quickly around the court and hitting so many hard shots. I couldn't even follow the ball at times. I'm dead serious. It was just so extraordinary.
Yep.
That's probably the best match I've seen.
Okay. Do you have a
Knicks national? Mick and Sven, their national win was awesome too.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, outstanding match.
So let me ask you a question. Do you have a signature shot? Like, what's the best shot you have? What should we look out for if we're on the court against you?
Mooster. The Mooster.
The Mooster. Can you explain what the Mooster is?
Mooster is, and look, I mean, I'm a high teen, mid to high teen PTI guy that doesn't have all the racket skills that these tennis players have. But I grind like an animal and I know my corner and I can defend 75,000 balls in a match all day long. So, and I'll bring enough offense to keep myself and my team in a match. But my signature shot would be the Mooster, which is from Tomas Mooster, right? The former
Legend.
That is a legend, right? Played in
Lefty.
Right, yeah, lefty. And he hit this backhand topspin shot. And that's when I hit it, all the guys know in New Jersey that I scream Mooster when I hit it. I don't hit it that often, but when I hit it, it's got to be like a sitting duck where I can hit it that I'll know it's going to go in and I'll just crack a topspin and backhand. And I won't just win the point because it's a good shot. I'll usually win the point because, I scare the opponent when I yell it. Mooster!
Mooster.
All
right. I think that's a good one to end on, Ben, unless there's another one you're really dying to ask him.
Well, I have one that I like to ask everyone. What's your favorite hut? This is always a good discussion. It might have been one of your top 5s. What are the top 5 huts in the country?
What? I have to add that to the top 5 category, but
right, that's a good one.
I gotta say,
have you been to Chicago? That would be my first question.
I have not.
We lead the way.
In hut?
I think so.
Yeah, that's not even close.
So let me ask you, Ben, have you been to Brookside?
I have not. I don't think I have.
No.
I'm not good
Brookside,
with.
Or no, is it Brookside up in next to Hawthorne? What am I thinking of?
Brookside's the one where
not
there's
Brookside.
a balcony. There's a balcony at Brookside.
Yeah. No, not Brookside. What's the other one where Yaminsky plays at?
Indian Trail.
Indian Trail.
It's Greg's club.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
Whole outdoor sitting area with fire pits and there's a bar right inside, fully stocked bar. I mean, it's
Indian Trail is nice, but that would be very average in Chicago.
Really?
Really?
Yeah. Chicago's crazy. Yeah, Indian Trail is very much like Inverness, Ben, which you probably haven't been to. Brand new club.
I've been by Inverness now. Yeah, it's nice.
It's very nice, very much like Inverness, which is nice. Yeah, Chicago's crazy. Yeah, you gotta come out sometime and see it.
Yeah, I've almost come out to some tournaments to umpire, but
there you go. Nationals this year, team nationals, come on up.
Is it? No, it's April 1st, the same as Last Chance, isn't it?
Oh, you're right.
Same thing that happened last year. That's why I didn't play team nationals last year, because Last Chance.
There's a couple of people that decided to play team nationals that won't be getting an invite back. They're going to get banned for 2 years. Yeah.
You
Oh,
what, Noah, your first name on the team sheet. I've got
appreciate
got
that.
Waldy. Jay Waldenberg's gonna be
nice.
on my team.
Nice. I play well with
I
Jay.
gotta, I
Hey,
got
real quick shout out. Noah's going to be sponsoring again, third year now, the Xenon Ball, the Last Chance, and it's the only ball we'll play in our tournament. I'll just leave
Nice.
it.
damn
Love it.
straight.
Doing Short Hills too.
Yeah, it'll be there at Short Hills.
Yeah.
And Noah's also sponsoring the balls for the Dick Squires Mixed Madness Invitational at the Englewood Field Club this Saturday. And now, exclusively on Inside the Wires, Deep Thoughts by Dick Squires, author of How to Play Platform Tennis, orated by the Real Paddle Boys. A warning is in order for the men. It is well to keep in mind that the male partner will see very few balls coming in his direction. He will have to stand helplessly and watch his female partner lunge, twist, and puff as she doggedly returns one shot after the other. Such a scene will ignite an inherent urge in the man to rush to his damsel's aid. He will edge slowly towards her side of the court, hoping one of the opponent's balls will be placed near enough to him to get his paddle on it and put a quick end to his partner's distress. However, the man must be patient. He must have the utmost confidence in his female partner's ability to withstand the barrage. It's all part of the wonderful and frustrating game of mixed doubles paddle.
It's awesome.
It's the Dick Squires.
Oh, this is the
Mixed
classic.
Madden.
All right, we're going on 2 hours, but all right, you gotta.
Let's keep going. What is it?
You gotta give a plug
Please.
for the Dick Square.
So
This is
we're,
gonna be
we're,
classic.
we're doing an event. It's only about 3 or 4 clubs in our local area. Lauren Gebby is kind of hosting it. Marco Grangiero is kind of helping out as well. And it's a mixed tournament. We're trying to follow the Dick Squires rules, like the man must serve first. We're trying to do these types of things and to keep it fun. We're getting close to saying you have to dress like they used to dress like in the 70s, but we figured it might be might be too
wool
much.
sweaters and khakis.
So
That'd be
corduroy
We may
great.
do that next year,
corduroys.
but it's going to be -2 degrees, by the way, Saturday morning. So it's going to be
Wool is
very
perfect.
cold, very
Yep.
cold.
That's right.
Yeah. And we're using Xenon balls. Thank you, Noah. We have like a ton of sponsors. I mean, I won't go through all of them right now, but we even got Remedy Plus, the big APTA sponsor to help us out.
Cool.
And it's been amazing. It's our first one. It's the first one that the Paddle Boys have ever sponsored, so that's a big one for us.
Yeah,
My
man.
wife's been very involved in it. I mean, it's been a lot of fun trying to set this thing up. So hopefully it's a big success, and we'll do this every year.
That's
Can you-
cool.
can
And
you
Lauren
talk
runs
about-
it?
Yeah.
Following Dick Squires, if a woman makes a call and a man questions it, must she bow down to the man's questioning?
Who said anything about
man.
women being allowed to make calls?
Oh,
okay.
No.
We're just going by the Dick Squires
This
book
is
here.
Dick Squires rules
What
here,
is
guys.
what's the engraving on the water bottle? What's
Oh
that?
my gosh, I have to look that one up. We actually have like quotes from the book, like on the beer cups that we have, and we really went all out on this one.
Classic.
So
Absolutely classic.
yeah,
Yeah.
should be a lot of fun. Should be a lot
Check
of fun.
social media. That's gonna be an
Yeah,
awesome.
there'll be a
time.
lot of
Especially-
photos on Paddle Boys on that one,
You
definitely.
said Lauren Gebbia runs it.
Yeah, she's our
Yeah.
pro at Englewood Field Club, so she's
Yeah.
hosting it. So
She's, by the way, another class act.
mhm.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Great in the community. She's a former BC Eagle too, which is near and dear to me. My kids are Eagles, but she's a class act.
Yeah, she's the
Absolutely.
best. Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, 2 hours in, we should wrap.
This was awesome. We've got to have you on again, Greg. This is fantastic. I love this.
I appreciate you guys having me on. I hope I didn't. I can't wait till what is this? This is taping and then it's going to run.
I would
No,
like
we're
to
just
get.
taping. We're not actually running it. It's for our entertainment. We're not. gonna
Half the
actually
time we get
broadcast this.
people on so Noah and I can get free paddle lessons. That's what
Yeah.
we had Madik on for the other week. Yeah, just for
This is
free
it.
lessons.
I
No,
hope I
you-
didn't say anything that's going to get me in trouble with any.
No,
of
no,
with
it's
any of the
fine.
players.
Everything
No.
will be fine. You know what? I have heard a lot of people listen to the podcast as they're like driving out to tournaments or flying to tournaments or whatever. So this
Yeah.
might be on the way to Short Hills. This might be 2 hours of the transport time. So it'll be good. Keep them going.
This was awesome. We'll get you on again. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Greg.
Yeah, thanks so much, Greg. Good stuff tonight. Appreciate your time and
got it.
everything you're doing for paddle.
Yeah, you guys got it. Noah, thank you so much for the free balls for the Last Chance Invitational. I totally appreciate it.
Always my pleasure. All right. Thanks, Greg. Take care.
Thanks,
Talk to you
Greg.
soon, boys.
We are.
All right, fade to black, roll the credits. I'm Ben, that's Noah, and thank you, Ara, for joining us today. We had Greg Robertson joining us. That was he's awesome. I didn't know him before we did the show today. We got to get him back. He's one of these guys that gives his time, helps grow the game, and doesn't ask anything from it. So every area of paddle has someone like G-Rub, and the game's better for having him. So again, we appreciate everyone that's listening to my stupid voice right now. I appreciate you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. And I'm pumped that Mark Powers listens to our show. So thank you, Mark, if you're listening. Guys, I'm out of here.